Welcome to the Opinionated Prepper. I'm Steve. I'm wondering, what news are you guys focusing on? Every time I read the news, I find just a little more and a little more and a little more to talk about. And there's not enough hours in the day to research all of the stuff, all of the doublespeak, to see if they're telling the truth, why they would be saying that, why they're changing their mind, what they said 2 months ago. Just can't keep up with it. And there's so many people that are focusing on different things. They're not really realizing that any of those one things could take us down at any moment. But there's 197 different things coming at us all at once. I always say follow the food. If you follow the food, if you look what's going on with there, you can see the plans, you can see where it's going, and you can see that all of the other stuff that's going on all over the place, it boils down to food, basically. You know, everybody, you want to talk about impending war and proxy wars and everything like that, and how at first, not going to send cluster bombs, then we send cluster bombs. Not going to send them F-16s, we send them F-16s. Not going to send them F-1 Abrams, they have F-1 Abrams. But they can have the Abrams, but they won't get the depleted uranium. They're getting the depleted uranium. You know, you have people in Turkey, you have people all over the place saying, hey, you know, the United States is egging this on. All they have to do is put a stop to it, and it stopped. But we seem to just agitate, and it looks like they're trying to force a war. But why would they do that? You know, in my opinion, honestly, Ukraine, like I said, just a plethora of good soil to grow a whole lot of stuff, and Russia's wanting that. You know, you can look and say, hey, NATO's getting a little bit too close to our back door, and we want them gone. You know, why we were told this started in the first place. That's understandable. I'd be the same way. You know, if the next door neighbor's fence keeps getting closer and closer and closer to your bedroom window, you tend to get a little bit aggravated. You know, but you look at that, you look at what we covered yesterday with aliens, look at the financial industry, and that's a big thing. Next to food, and I actually think overtaking food right now is the financial system when it comes to me. And there's so much doublespeak. You know, you look, Wells Fargo is paying out tens of millions of dollars because of their dirty dealings, and they're losing money, I think 40 billion in unrealized losses. And now you have regulations coming out saying that they might need to sell more of their bonds and stuff, which means those unrealized losses become realized losses. And they're hemorrhaging, but they're saying, no, we see very positive feedback that there's going to be a rate reduction in 2024. So now's the best time. Just keep your money with us, get that loan, do what you need to do, because it's all going to be better next year. Can you believe that? Honestly, I mean, if they're looking at going under, and then they're saying something that's contrary to where all indicators are pointing, and it would benefit them for you to believe them, are you going to believe them? You know, and you see people backing out of grain deals and crop deals with the United States, the number one buyer, the number two buyer, saying no GMO, saying we don't want to deal with you anymore, but then saying, oh, it's on the uptick. And even though we just upgraded some livestock feed to human grade feed, we're doing fine. All the crops are ruined. We lost a whole lot, and year after year, we're coming in less than what we projected, but we're good, we're okay, we're fine. No reserves because we've used what we've grown and some, so now we don't have any reserves, but we're fine. We're looking into synthetic meat and synthetic food and other ways to grow more of a yield, but we're fine. No reason that we would be doing that. We're perfectly fine. Countries all over the world are saying, stock up, stock up, stock up. 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year, 2 years, stock up. Like you've never stocked up before, stock up. And we're hearing, no, it's fine. We hear we have a strong dollar. We have a strong dollar, but a strong dollar ruins other economies around the world. So either they detach from the dollar or they do something to weaken the dollar. You know, a strong dollar is good. A really strong dollar will wreck the economy, which in turn wrecks our economy. A weak dollar wrecks the economy, which in turn wrecks our economy. It's a very fragile ecosystem, this entire financial thing. And you need to watch what they're doing. You need to watch those little black swan events like glitches in the system and people not getting their Social Security check for a month and a half on end because Green Dot just can't fix the problem that they have and all of their customers' money is gone. Biggest one, is that a Walmart bank? I know it does a whole lot of deals with Walmart, you know, so is that saying that Walmart took their money? I don't know if it's a Walmart bank or they just do business with them, but it seems like they stole a whole heck of a lot of money and they're going to get off the hook. If I was a customer of Green Dot, I think I would find the CEO and I would camp out on his front yard, use his tulips as my bathroom, and I think I would use his kitchen for when I need to use his kitchen and say, until you give me back my money and pay for all the late fees and get me a new place because you caused me to get evicted, I'm calling you roomie. But that's just me. But what are you following? You know, you can take your pick nowadays. There's so many things. And I mean, if you're avid, if you're earnestly looking at something, you know more than I do about it because I'm trying to understand all of the things happening and I just can't do it. You know, I know the basics, I know the talking points, I can talk with it. I watch quite a few YouTube channels that go into deeper. You go into finance, 3 or 4 really good channels. You go into certain prepping channels, you go into food shortage channels, you go into war channels, you go into everything like that. Everybody has their own niche. Everybody has something. You know, and you can learn from those people. I have something, but I mean, I have a few things, but it's basically talking about what everybody else talks about, you know, so I'm trying to find my new thing, and I think my new thing is asking you and starting the conversation with you about what's impressed on you. What is your eagerness? You know, if you're watching this channel, you can see that things are wrong. You could be like me and just see it coming from all angles, or you can specify in one thing and you've picked it apart, done your research, and you think it's impending and this is what's going to bring us down. I'd like to know. Do me a favor, leave me a comment. While you're there, do me a favor and like and share and subscribe. Even if you don't like this video, I'm sure I have a video that you will like, and if I don't, I'm sure I'll make one. And if I don't, I'll never hear from you, so I'm still sure I'll make one. But regardless, nobody can prep for everything. I know I sure can't. What I'm prepping for is being broke. That's my whole big thing. I think if I'm broke, that will make me prepared for all situations. I can't afford to go grocery shopping, so what do I have that I can make that my grandkids and myself aren't going to turn our nose up at? If I can't pay my bills, what can I do without? If I can't pay my electricity and I don't have any, how do I generate electricity or live comfortably without it? Can't make my house payment, where do I get money to make my house payment? What can I do to generate income? Thinking that you may be broke or you're going to be broke will open your eyes to a vast amount of things that you can cut corners with, or you can make do with, or you can make, or you can substitute. And that's kind of where I want to go. See, I call myself a scavenger prepper. I think another term for that is hoarding. And I was talking to somebody else. My workshop turned into a landfill, more or less. I'm going to have to build another workshop. No, but she was the same way. She said, I don't have any room. I'm running out of room. And you'd be surprised when you have that mentality. You could be walking down the street and something's just laying there, and you automatically think, what can I use this for? Hey, I can use it for this. There's been so many times that I have a project or I have something and I need something because I either thought I had it or I didn't think about it and didn't get it. So real quick, not even really just to save me money, but real quick to save me a trip, I'll go into my little landfill and I'll find something that I can substitute, I can repurpose, I can use, I can fudge in just a little way. Most of the time it works better. So it saves me time, it saves me energy and gas getting to a store to get something. It saves me money. You know, and it's not like keeping candy wrappers and stuff like that, although you can find a use for them. You know, but it's kind of not leaving a footprint and making do with what you have. So that way, if you're broke and there's no money, nothing's changed and you're still not going to do without because you know how to do for yourself. That's my prepping style. I prep like I'm broke, and the reason I prep is because I see food drying up. And that's the answer to all this stuff. And I see a digital currency coming in so they can have more regulation and control, more of a tyrannical, dictatorial governance, because they're going to have to make sure there's enough food for everybody. And that's why CBDCs are coming into play, and that's why restrictions have been issued for the whole world when they shouldn't have. That's why you see a rise in AI and a rise in work bots, because they can go 24/7 and they can make things perfect and precise, you know, waste not, want not. That's why we see all of this stuff, because they're going to need complete and utter control to make sure everybody has. Not everybody's going to have. You're barely going to be able to get what you need to survive, because it's all going to go to the elite. They'll find a way to take what you have, like they always do. But that's what I see being in the future. Things shutting down, complete and utter government rule, regulations put in place where if you don't follow them, then you're cut off from the internet, which is your lifeblood, because you're not going to get what you need or pay what you need if they suspend your internet for a length of time. That's how they're going to bring everything in. And I think it's, like I said, because of food. You know, they don't want to lose power, they don't want to lose control, they don't want riots in the streets because people are hungry. They don't want what happened with the Great Migration and with uprisings and rebellions and famine and unaliving in mass scale. They don't want that like they happened in the last grand solar minimum and the last and the last. They don't want that, so they're trying to fix that now. Where geoengineering comes into play, that's where, like I said, synthetic food comes into play, where digital currency comes into play, where lockdowns and regulations come into play, where a UBI comes into play, where war comes into play, because you're going to want the land that produces the food, so get it now. You know, that's what I see. So I guess maybe I'm just like a broad range type person. But like I said, if you don't mind, leave down in the comments what you're prepping for, the thing that you're focusing on, what you think is going to kick off this entire thing, because it's going to pop. Some say it already has popped with the real estate market and all of that stuff, which may be something else that you're looking at. Just wondering, just curious. God willing, we'll see you tomorrow.